In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your old stock crank pulley with a nice new aftermarket fluid damper pulley. Okay, so let's see. We're going to need a 17 and going the right way. Oh, I had it the right way already. Yep, so I can't do this with two hands, but loosen it, take the belt off, and then we'll stick it in gear, take that off, and see if this pulley goes on. Okay, so before taking off the belt, what I did was you can just barely kind of take this 22 and wedge it on into place. And then I took the handle of my jack, made a little cheater extension. I put the car in gear, wheels are on the ground, e-brakes pulled, all that kind of stuff. And just get it to break free. I don't think I can pull it with one hand quite yet. Either way, get it to break free, switch over to the ratchet, pull the bolt out, and then take the belt off. Make sure that you remember the routing of your belt. And then it should be just as simple as throwing this guy on here. And this part number is just a standard Evo 10 part. The keyway and everything should just match up the same on here. The only thing is, a long time ago I was in a thread on Coupe that basically this timing mark is 2 degrees retarded, I think. So if you were trying to time the engine with this pulley, it will not time correctly. But given that the Genesis, especially the BK1s, need all the help they can get, I figured this would probably be a worthy upgrade given the amount of power that I'm making now. So I'll pull this one off and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I was able to just crack it free, and you can see I wanted to try and show as much of this in real time as I can, but I don't have a strap or anything to hold this on, so I have to work one-handed. Alright, well, you guys are gonna have to bear with me here. I gotta put the camera down because once you relieve the tension, I gotta get the belt off. Okay, so I pulled the belt off. Whoops. Sorry, can't film and work at the same time. Okay, there we go. So now we're just going to have to pry this pulley off. As you can see, I live in an area where there we get rust, and in the past I have driven this car in the winter time. So I'll go ahead and pry that off. I'll show that as much as I can for this, and then putting the new one on. I'll compare some of the differences between this guy and this one. Okay, there's what it'll look like when you pull the pulley off. That was surprisingly easy to come off. I was expecting it to be pretty tight, but it makes sense since there's a keyway on there. But we'll go ahead and show you the difference here. So this is basically a stock pulley. This is a dampened pulley, meaning basically there is like a rubber shock absorbing material in here. And I will say just initially, this pulley is probably twice as heavy. However, the way that Fluidampr, which is the manufacturer of this one, does it is that when you have much more power than factory, this will help dampen those primary and secondary frequencies that rob you of power and also reliability. So you'll see here too, it's this 5 ribs here across plus this extra material out in front. It's basically solid all the way through, got the same keyway. And this one is, you can see machined, or the cast actually. Through there, still the same. Let's see if I can stack these. So you can see here kind of the difference that we're looking at. So you can see why this guy over here is basically going to be set up for way better, way higher power than what this is going to be able to handle. So again, these on the dyno are proven to pick up power on the middle to high end because of canceling out all of those oscillations. But this is basically meant primarily for protection with me because I haven't opened my motor up yet. So this is going on as hopefully to help it last a little bit longer. So we'll take this, line it up with the keyway, slap it on there, and then I did this video pretty much in real time, so it shouldn't be more than like a 20-minute swap. I do also have one of these on my Mark 6 Golf R, which has a single mass twin disc on it, and they do actually help with reducing the chatter that you hear on it, and it actually helps smooth things out quite a bit. So I'm very hopeful for what it'll actually feel like on this car, and this is something that I've basically haven't seen anyone else do. Okay, and then once you I guess start that bolt, thread it in by hand. Don't want to cross thread any of those because that goes into your crank. Cross thread that, you're going to have a real bad time. And then the torque value is between 122 and 130 foot-pounds. So get your torque wrench out, set it for wherever you like within that range, torque it down, put the belt back on, and you're all set. Okay, so it's not a 20-minute install. It's going to be more complex. I don't know if I can get a good view of this, but anyway. This piece that sticks out here where you would normally kind of look at for, oops, my bad, for timing. It goes out nearly to this first rib. So you can see like the end of the pulley is sitting underneath this block that sticks out. And when you push on the fluid damper, the back of the pulley sits in front of this block. So that lip that sticks out, let's see if I can get this all out. This lip right here that sticks out is too tall, and you can actually see a ring where it contacts on the back of this pulley. just like that. So I guess what I read years ago from somebody that works for this company is that it's not a perfect fit with everything except for 2 degrees of timing, because I checked the timing mark that's on here too, and it's way off. It's probably 30 degrees off. So don't use this for timing your engine if you're doing a new build, but you can just swap it in because this keyway is the same size. So we're gonna have to shave that down by my measurements of at least 1/4 of an inch. But that's going to be basically flush with the surface of this front cover. So I would highly not recommend doing it on the car, but I don't want to take all of this stuff off. So I think I'll give it a try. If I don't feel comfortable, I'll take it all off, but if I do, you'll see the next shot with that ground down, both of these rings down here. So, and then that should be what you need to put it all on. Okay, so as you can see, I've spent some time grinding down those 2 flanges that stick up. They're not perfectly smooth with the surface. The grinding looks, yeah, okay. Could be a little bit better because you can see where it was slipping off. But I took the fan out and I pulled off one of the idler pulleys, and I'll slip this on. Come on now. There we go. So maybe I can get a good view of it, but it appears that it's going on far enough, because when I lean over, I can't get the camera in there, but when I lean over, I can see this block is reaching almost to this second rib. Now when I press down and get it in there, it doesn't make any additional marks other than the one from when I first put it in there. So I think we are all set. Probably to be on the safe side, you'd probably want to grind that all flat. But I think that we'll be okay with this, because when I looked from the side, I could actually see the bottom of the flange and it wasn't contacting. I might stick my, I have like a little borescope or maybe some feeler gauges in there to make sure I have clearance. Okay, so I'm beginning to tighten this down because I actually took some feeler gauges and was measuring the clearance back here, and then looking at how much overlap, I guess, there is with these ribs, and measuring a few areas. I seem to have plenty of clearance for doing this job. Definitely take the fan and the shroud out, and normally you wouldn't have to take that idler pulley off, but I did this in the car, and I highly would recommend not you know, having to grind that down when it's in the car, take everything off. But I felt comfortable with the way that I had it taped off, that I didn't get anything in the engine. So I think we're okay with this. I'll put it all back together, and then I'll try and get some videos of the car idling, starting, idling, and driving. Alright, well, I hope I'm coming in here, but there's obviously the dampened pulley. So how much I cut it works just fine.